everybody. Coaching Cafe. So great to have you here with me. Today's Coaching Cafe is around looking at good coaching versus great coaching. So first of all, I'd like to do the acknowledgement of country, and we acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which we meet today and their continuing connection to the land, waters and communities of Australia. We pay our respects to them and to their elders, past, present and emerging. So lovely to have you here, as I said. Let's have a look at our agenda for today. First of all, I'm going to highlight the ICF, or the International Coaching Federation, definition of coaching. We're going to have a look at what good coaching looks like, sounds like. We're also going to compare that, what the slight shift is to take good coaching to great coaching. We're also going to have a look at what the difference is between a competent coaching session, which will be all of those things that are good coaching and great coaching, and potentially what stands out as a not yet competent coaching session. As always, in these coaching cafes, we want to create a sense of community, create a shared learning experience, and have some of those thought-provoking conversations together as a team, but also in your workplaces or on your Zoom meetings and your connections with others. And in relation to your ICF CCEs, or your continuing coach education units, you can contact us at support@opendoorcoaching.com.au for further information around that. So let's get started. The ICF definition of coaching, or the International Coaching Federation definition of coaching, is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximise their potential, personal and professional potential. Partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximise their personal and professional potential. So we're going to look at how good coaching, and certainly great coaching, supports that definition. What are we trying to achieve as coaches? Well, we want to be demonstrating the foundations of coaching practice and building our skill development so that we're growing and developing our skill set from good coaching to great coaching. So let's have a look at when a coach is doing good coaching. What will they be doing? And I'm wondering if you can take a moment to just think about what you think good coaching looks like, sounds like. And let's have a look at this together. Okay, so the first point that I want to highlight there is that a good coach and good coaching will establish the coaching agreement. And what we mean by that is there will be a clear overall goal, as well as a goal for the session. So it's really around the overall goal, but also too the desired outcome for the coaching session. So what is it that they want to achieve in relation to that goal in the time that you have available in this particular conversation? So getting clear around that coaching agreement. Good coaching means that the coach will attend to what is presented by the client. So what the client raises as the issue or the challenge, that's what the coach is going to attend to in that conversation. Building trust and rapport. with the client. Of course, good coaching is going to include building trust and rapport with your coachee. You know, the coach is going to express support for their client. The coach is going to encourage their client to fully express themselves in that coaching session, which is going to support presence and trust and rapport. The coach is also going to focus on the coachee in a deliberate manner and demonstrate presence. So good coaching will include the coach learning to and building upon their skill of being able to focus 100% on the coachee, that active listening, that presence in coaching. They're going to be curious and they want to learn more. They're going to be focused on what that coachee is talking about. And they're going to demonstrate their presence by, you know, supporting the client to choose what's happening in their session. They're going to be observant and responsive to what the client is saying. Naturally, in coaching, good coaching will mean that we're being non-judgmental. We're not going to judge what the coachee is saying. We're not going to pass on our opinion or thoughts, our judgments around what's going on in that conversation. Good coaching means that the coach is going to ask open questions in response to what the coachee is saying and listening to the context of the conversation. So we're really going to work on building our who, what, where, when, how questions in response to what the coachee is saying. So we're really eliciting, you know, good information that's going to support and serve that coachee moving forward. And we're going to be actively listening to what's being said. We're going to ask questions around that client situation that's going to support them moving forward. We might explore the client's emotions, how they're feeling about something. And we'll explore their behaviours, what they're doing to achieve what it is that they want to achieve. We're also going to stay out of the space when we ask that open question and allow that coachee to respond. Give them some quiet time to think and reflect. Good coaching means that we want to help fix the immediate problem using our coaching tools, potentially models that we've learned, questions that we have in our toolkit. We want to support that person finding a solution to their problem. We're going to ask questions that are focused on solving the issues that are presented by the coachee. We're going to attend to that agenda. So whatever is offered to us as the coach, that's what we're going to focus our attention on, helping that person resolve either that problem or that issue and support them in moving forward to where they want to be. We're going to demonstrate awareness at the level of what will solve the problem or achieve the goal for that client. Again, this is supporting the coachee or the client to resolve what's being presented. So we're listening intently, we're listening actively, and we're responding to that particular problem, issue, challenge. And we're going to support that person in finding a resolution, finding a way forward to achieve the desired result that they want. We're going to ask one question at a time. We're going to allow coachees to think and reflect, and we're going to stay out of that space. Naturally, we're going to establish some good action plans with our clients so that they have a way forward. They have a clear plan to move forward between the sessions that you have with this person between those conversations. They know which way they're going to head when they walk away. And we're also going to make sure that they are accountable. What resources, what tools do they need that are going to support them in achieving the outcome that they're looking to achieve? Making sure that they're ready to move forward when we have when our conversation starts to wrap up. We're also always going to allow the coachee to find their own answers. Now, this leads me back to that ICF definition of coaching, partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximise their personal and professional potential. Thought-provoking and creative process, allowing them to find their own answers. So have a think about those particular dot points, if you like, of what constitutes good coaching. I think about how I relate good coaching or where I align it to, and I align that to the ACC, the ICF's accreditation of ACC, Associate Certified Coach. Good coaching, and we all want to be doing good coaching. That's what we aspire to achieve. We can stretch a little and go from good coaching to great coaching, and we may fluctuate between the two, but we're always aspiring to do a little bit more to do that really great coaching. And there are some slight shifts to take us from good coaching to great coaching. So let's have a look at what that might be. And I'm wondering what you're thinking in terms of what that difference might be to take us from good coaching to great coaching. Let's take a look at some of those things. Again, like good coaching, we're going to establish the coaching agreement always, that clear goal, the overall goal that that client is trying to achieve, and also for this conversation. So the difference, the slight difference from good coaching to great coaching may be the inclusion of making sure that we're checking in on a measurement of success. How will we know? How will your coachee know that they're achieving that goal? And importantly, in terms of the goal or the desired outcome for this conversation, the one that you're having, how will they know that they've achieved that desired outcome by the time they get to the end of that conversation? So it's almost like you're checking in along the way to ensure that what was established as a coaching agreement at the start of that session, you're actually ending up with at the end of that session. The other slight shift could be, taking from good coaching to great coaching, is asking what's important or meaningful to them about that goal. How come that goal's so important to them? It's really drilling into the who of the client, not just the what, not just what they need to do, but how will it impact them? How will it impact their environment? How will it impact who they are, for example? It's really just adding a little bit more to that goal and the importance of it. So therefore, we're going to explore the desired outcome in more depth, including the importance of the goal and the measures of success. Again, we're going to build trust and rapport with a sense of ease and naturalness. We understand what it takes to build rapport with that person. We're going to express support for them, of course. We're going to encourage them and allow them to fully express themselves in the same way that we would if we were doing good coaching. We're also going to, and the slight shift might be here, acknowledging and respecting their work in this coaching process. So remember how I mentioned that we might check in on the measures of success. How will we know that we're tracking to get this desired outcome by the end of this coaching conversation? So part of building rapport is also checking in, acknowledging what they're achieving in this particular conversation, acknowledging the work that they've done between sessions, for example. The entire coaching process, it's checking in on those measures of success, and that helps and supports trust and rapport. So here, great coaching will be 100% focused on and connected to the coachee's reflections, their thoughts, their feelings, their discussion. As a coach, we're going to act in response to not only what they want to accomplish in their session, what they want to achieve here, but also the person, the who they are, the impact that they have, the meaning of what they're trying to achieve. We're connecting to who they are. We might, not only are we still observing and being responsive to what they're saying, but we might also notice energy shifts in them. It might be a tone of voice. It might be the sound of their voice. It might be how quickly they're speaking. We're going to be really curious. We want to learn more about what they're saying. Again, like good coaching, we'll be non-judgmental. We're going to ask open questions like we do with good coaching, and we're responding to the moment and we're stretching the coachee's thinking. So yes, we're asking who, what, where, when, how. With our good coaching, we might be calling upon our models and tools that we've learned through our coaching practices, which is really good. Great coaching is going to call upon being able to blend that, being able to call upon great questions that respond to the moment. So rather than maybe just sticking to a particular model, for example, which, demonstrate great questions, we're going to be really aware of what's going on for that coachee, really aware for what's going on for that person in the moment, and we're going to catch it and respond accordingly and appropriately in the moment, because we know our coaching models, our tools, our techniques, we know them so well that we're able to just respond with the right question at the right time. And that question is going to stretch the coachee's thinking to move toward where they need to go. So what I mean by that is our questions, we're not asking questions for the sake of asking a question. We're asking questions with purpose. We're asking powerful questions with a genuine curiosity because we don't know the answer. We're genuinely respecting that the coachee or the client knows the answer for themselves. And the question has purpose. It's not a question to just find out more about the story or more content. The question's designed to move that person toward where they want to go and stretch their thinking. When we're doing great coaching, we're using the coachee's language, and we might be taking into consideration their learning style as well, which we might miss with good coaching. We're still doing good coaching, but essentially if we're doing great coaching, we're taking in their learning style. How do they learn best? Are they visual? Are they auditory? Are they kinesthetic? Auditory digital? How do they like to learn? And how do we tailor our questions to serve that learning style? Something to think about. We're going to evoke awareness by creating space for the coachee to explore, discover, find new perspectives and learnings. And this is supported by our observation. So it might be, for example, that we share an observation or an intuition, a comment or a thought or a feeling to serve the client's learning or moving forward. And that's all. It's about serving a purpose to support their learning experience. What do we observe? What are we noticing? Now, we aren't going to have any attachment to that being correct, by the way, that being right. It may or may not be. It's something that we might notice. We might share an observation, but we don't have any attachment to that being right. It may or may not be, and that's up for the coachee to decide. But it's something that we might notice or contribute to that conversation. It's not making a judgment, it's just noticing something. A change in tone, the speed of the voice, something that was said, potentially that might conflict with something else that was said, as an example. And you're picking up on that. Of course, we're going to encourage action plans with purpose, potentially touching on who they are, not just what they need to do. So essentially, it's looking at the whole human, the whole person, who they are, as well as what they need to do. So it's not just that surface action plan, the list, the to-do list, the things they need to do, but also looking at how does that impact? Who will they become? How will this change them? What will this mean for them? Really making those impactful, opening up the idea around having them think about how it changes them, their environment, things around them. It's really important, of course, that, being able to touch on who they are and not just what they need to do. It's really about creating that awareness, supporting their new learning. And again, we're going to ensure accountability, resources, tools, and preferably not relying on the coach to hold them accountable, but finding other resources and tools in their life that can support them in achieving what they want to achieve. And again, allowing the coachee to find their own answers. So I hope you can see the slight shift, the difference between good coaching, which is really good, and great coaching, those extra little bits that make it great. Let's just have a look at what would be considered not yet competent. Telling, mentoring, or advising. Whilst mentoring absolutely has its place, absolutely does, not in context of the coaching conversation. When we're coaching, we are not mentoring. We are not the expert. The client is. We're not going to be judging what the coachee is saying. We're not going to be giving our opinion about what they're saying. We believe that the coachee or the client is the expert in their own lives and they know what's best for them. We're not going to be using leading questions, guiding them down a particular pathway that we might think they need to go. We're going to be asking open and curious questions because we don't know the answer. Stacking questions is another thing. Making sure that we're asking one question at a time and allowing the space for the client to respond. Asking a lot of closed questions. I think it's important to ask a lot of open questions, and the closed questions, keep them for when you want to nail that coachee to commitment. Asking questions for more story and out of interest. I mentioned that before. In terms of asking questions with purpose, questions that are going to support the coachee to move forward towards where they need to be. We're not going to jump into the space or cut the coachee off. We're going to allow them to finish what they're saying. We're not going to talk a lot. We're not going to tell stories or monopolise the conversation. It's really 80-20, 80% the coachee talking, 20% the coach. We're allowing the space and facilitating their thought process. Every great coach is engaged in practice, learning, and continuous improvement. I just thought I saw a question there. I was trying to get to it. I've just got some webinar chat there. Thank you. Sometimes need to go out of screen sharing and trying again. Agree that these structural aspects of coaching will lead to good coaching. Yes. Can the purpose of questions not also be to build rapport and understanding? Most certainly, Ian. Yeah, that's a good question. You can certainly ask questions to build rapport and to gain some sort of understanding. Absolutely, for sure. I think just make sure that when you are asking questions, overall, in the context of the whole conversation, that the question is for the coachee to move forward rather than for you to understand. So it's not about you, it's about them. So making sure that the question is supporting them moving forward rather than them taking the time to explain the ins and outs of detail that potentially you don't necessarily need to know, if that makes sense. And happy to talk about that further as well. So we've come to the end of our webinar. It's gone very quickly. You are welcome to send me any questions that you like. Brigitte at opendoorcoaching.com.au. That's BRIGITTE at opendoorcoaching.com.au if you want to ask any questions. I hope that this has been of some value just to check in on good coaching versus great coaching and also what constitutes not yet competent. Please continue practicing your coaching, engage in ongoing learning and development, develop your reflective practices, keep practicing your great open questions and enjoy your coaching. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now. I might also, before I go, just also mention the Leader as Coach program. There's a link there for Leader as Coach and also our mental health first aid, which is run by our fabulous Nick. There's a link there as well. Enjoy your coaching, everybody. I can see that there's another couple more questions there. I'm just going to have a quick look. A pleasure, absolute pleasure. All right, everyone take care and look forward to talking to you at another time. Bye for now.